Hello, hello, hello. My name is LaKeesha Hines, and you are watching SOS, where I'm saving bedrooms one bedroom at a time. I'm saving bedrooms. I'm saving relationships one bedroom at a time. Listen, I'm so excited to talk about the bedroom. I said it twice, and I'm going to say it one more time. And now that's four times. And now five times that I'm saying I'm saving relationships, marriages, one bedroom at a time. It's been a long day. Don't judge my life. Tonight, I'm so excited. We're talking about disorganized attachment and how that impacts the bedroom. Last week, we talked about avoidant attachment and how that can impact your sex life, how it can affect your bedroom activity, how it can affect your relationship. And so we're moving on now to disorganized attachment. Go ahead and let me know where you're streaming from. Make sure if you have any questions that you put them in the chat. And most importantly, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe, share, like, do it. All three. Thank you for watching each and every one of the shows here at Couples Academy. We thank you guys for your support always. We so appreciate you all. And anyway, I just, if you were here last week, were you able to identify with anything that was shared? Anything resonate with you with the avoidant attachment? I know that I did have someone share with me. One of my clients watched the show and shared, and there were things that resonated with them. And so I just wondered, did anything from last week's show resonate with you? Let me know. Drop your comments here. And even tonight, if anything that's shared resonates with you, please do not hesitate. Let me know. All right, guys. So we are going to dive literally right in. We are going to get it going. Like I said, we're talking about disorganized attachment and how it affects the bedroom. So I want you to know that the disorganized attachment style is also referred to as fearful avoidant attachment. And I'm not sure if you've heard of any of this before, but it definitely is something where there has been widespread research about. And so, if you want to find more, I mean, there are so many resources out there to assist with these different attachment styles. So, this particular one, the disorganized attachment style, people who have this tend to score really high in anxiety as well as avoidance. So, some of the characteristics of the disorganized attachment literally are a blend of the anxious, preoccupied, and avoidant dismissive styles. Now, we haven't talked about the anxious, preoccupied style. We'll talk about that next week, but we did talk about the avoidant dismissive styles. So, if you were here last week, again, probably got some information regarding that may have resonated with you, maybe not, but there are some similarities again between the avoidant dismissive and the disorganized attachment style. So some of the main characteristics of the disorganized attachment is feeling unworthy of love, also pursuing casual sex. And with the disorganized style, a lot of times this particular attachment style, they're more likely to have a sex addiction. Now, listen, I don't want you to go around trying to diagnose your partner. Do not do it. That needs to be done by a professional, not you. So make sure that you don't go trying to diagnose your significant other, your spouse, your partner. Don't do it. If that is something that you think may be going on with your partner, with your spouse, you guys need to have a conversation about it. You need to have a conversation about it, and hopefully they're willing to go and get evaluated, so that they can determine whether or not that's what's really going on. All right. So, just quickly, I want to just kind of bring you up to speed with the avoidant attachment. Um, so that you can kind of see the difference between the avoidant and the disorganized attachment. So the main thing with the disorganized versus the avoidant is that the avoidant attachment style really is totally uncomfortable with intimacy, right? They're really uncomfortable with emotional closeness. They don't want to open up to others. They don't want to express their thoughts and feelings. They find it very difficult to trust and to rely on other people. They like to maintain boundaries, and they may pull away. Like if you try to get emotionally close to them or get too close to them, they literally may pull away. They prefer they prefer to resolve conflict in a relationship all by themselves. Like they don't want help, they don't want you to chime in, they don't want you to help, they want to do it by themselves. And they definitely most likely will not want to reach out to a counselor. The avoidant attachment style, or person who has the avoidant attachment style, they often seem very distant. They seem aloof, even cold. They see themselves as very independent and self-sufficient, and they literally like may respond in a very negative way even when their partner is expressing their own emotions, like not asking them about their emotions, but like, I'm your partner and I'm literally just telling you how I'm feeling and expressing my emotions. The person with that avoidant attachment, they can't handle it. Like it's too much for them. They don't want to deal with it. All right. So that's the avoidant attachment. The disorganized, again, this is about not feeling worthy of love. This is still, there's a level of not wanting to have that closeness and connection because they'll pursue casual sex. And again, they're most likely more likely to have a sex addiction. And the disorganized individual, again, they have a tendency to swing back and forth between anxiety and avoidance driven behaviors. And that creates an unstable and unpredictable behavior pattern overall. So the person who's in a relationship with a disorganized individual, they oftentimes find it very difficult to, again, predict their partner's behavior, and it seems again like it's unstable and it is just all over the place because that anxiety a lot of times will cause them to avoid. It will cause them to avoid. And so it's the same in how they're communicating and how they're interacting. And it definitely applies to their sexual interactions. So the way that it can really throw their partner off and be really confusing is that they might exhibit extreme passion and love for someone and then shut down their attachment systems during lovemaking. And all of that is due to fear of intimacy. And see, that's the connection with the avoidant attachment. There's a fear of intimacy. But just like the anxious attachment, the disorganized adults see themselves in a negative light. They tend to have low self-esteem and they believe that they're not worthy of love, and they have difficulties trusting and relying on their lover, and therefore they often will pursue like emotion-free casual sex where they don't have to connect, they don't have to get their emotions involved, right? And and like I said, it can lead to a sex addiction because a lot of times if we're just having sex, like we don't necessarily have to have a communication, we don't necessarily have to have a relationship or a commitment, like literally it's just sex, right? So again, there are some similarities with the avoidant attachment style, but this one is really the difference, major difference is the anxiety that they feel that they experience, right? And again, not feeling as if they're worthy of love. The avoidant attachment, they don't necessarily care about being loved, right? Because it's emotions and they're avoiding those emotions. So let me shout out who's here. Just wanted to give you just an overview. We're going to go deeper, but let me shout out the people. Hello, Kim Kesia, or is it Kim Keisha? I'm not sure. You're in Orlando. You're not far from me. I'm in Tampa. Hello, Facebook user from Noonan, Georgia. Kim C. Bobby. Hello. Dark Night K. Good evening. Good evening. Lindsay, Rick, Stephanie, Tiffany. Hello. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Oh man, Dark Knight, you said good night. Good night, sir. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm last week. Looking forward to starting Foundry tomorrow. I'm so excited for you, my brother. I'm so excited for you to start Foundry and just cannot wait to hear about all of the epiphanies and aha moments and the transformation that's going to take place as a result of you joining Foundry. So excited. So we're going to dig even deeper into this disorganized attachment, you guys. But for right now, we're going to take a quick break, right? And we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
When 45 men from all walks of life come together in one place for one purpose, there is a collective harmony that produces an amplification of power that leaves an impact on the lives of men that cannot be erased. A fraternity of legendary men, all at the tipping point, on the precipice of greatness, meeting for one weekend to turn their worlds inside out. For the first time ever, the Foundry Experience. Not an event, not a seminar or retreat, but an opportunity to come face to face with the man you were always destined to be. If you want a life that's better than the one that you are living, meet us January 2023 for the Foundry Experience.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Hello, welcome back. Welcome back. We are talking about disorganized attachment and how it can affect your bedroom activity, how it can influence the intimacy in your relationship. So, I'm going to give you guys 7 signs of disorganized attachment in the bedroom. So, the very first one is having submissive, secondary, and passive roles in the intimate relationship. So if someone is being submissive or secondary or passive in the relationship, that could be a sign that they have a disorganized attachment style. And so what submission is not necessarily bad in the bedroom, right? But we're talking about always being submissive, always being passive, right? Regarding intimacy. And so I want to share with you Martin Buber's intersubjective theory. He talks about I thou versus I it. And in his I thou relationship mode, he talks about how both parties are often able to fully participate in the current sexual behavior and respond wholeheartedly, right? Where there's no holding back, just complete openness, right? With sharing. And so when there's incoordination or even conflict in the sexual activities, they can negotiate sincerely, and they can even repair the relationship if it breaks down with the I thou relationship mode. On the contrary, when we are in the I it relationship mode, sex exists more as a tool to achieve a certain purpose. And that purpose could be economic guarantee, sense of security, sense of comfort. And then their intersubjective relatedness is abnormal because either the boundary will be blurred and other people become their vassal, or I become others a vassal, or literally the relationship will be cut off. And then what happens with that? It leads to loneliness, false independence. And so really, what is that about, right? Like if the boundary becomes blurred, right? And the other person becomes, more of just, again, a tool. If they just become a tool, then it's about control, right? That's a control strategy. Or if the person who doesn't have the disorganized attachment becomes the tool, then it's compliance. Or if they completely cut off the person or the relationship, then it's avoidance. Then they're using an avoidance strategy. Either way, they're not showing up healthy in this relationship. Okay. The next sign, lower levels of intimacy and involvement in romantic relationships. So again, this was similar to with the with the avoidant attachment. This one, again, they just are not craving that intimacy the way people who have an attachment, a healthy attachment style or secure attachment style would have. They pursue emotionless sex. We've already talked about that. They really prefer casual sex. And also mentioned there's a higher likelihood of sexual addiction. They have lower levels of self-confidence and self-disclosure. The self-disclosure is about not wanting to connect. Because of the anxiety, they have the self-confidence issues because they get anxiety. Believing that they are unworthy of love and affection. Again, look at the title of this, the name of it. That is disorganized. Disorganized. That means that they're not clear in their thinking. And so they're telling themselves that they're unworthy of love and they're unworthy of affection. So it's almost like, you know what? I'm not even going to look for this or try to get this because I just don't want to be rejected. Sometimes that's it. Sometimes that's the case, right? I'm telling myself I'm unworthy, so I'm not even going to try or attempt to get it because I don't want to be rejected. Sexual behaviors that are characteristic for both anxious and avoidant individuals. Again, the avoidant attachment style just does not want to connect emotionally. They don't want to do it. It's uncomfortable for them. And the disorganized person, because of the anxiety, that's what a lot of times will prevent them from wanting to connect in that way. So, what can we do? What can we do to make it better? First thing, reflect on your own attachment style. That's number one. Reflect on your own attachment style. Sexual communication is a two-way street, you guys. So if you want to get in alignment with your partner, you want to sync up with your partner, whatever their attachment style is, you have to know what your own attachment style is. Because if you don't know your attachment style, it's going to be more difficult to understand the root cause of your own behavior or your response to your partner's behavior. So you have to get very clear and very familiar with your own attachment style. Second thing is you want to make sure that you open up and make yourself available, because if you suspect that your partner's avoidance stems from fear or anxiety rather than an overall dismissal of intimacy, then you could take extra care to show up for them. to make sure that you're providing any reassurance that they may not even know that they need. And it is so helpful to show an avoidantly attached partner that you can be dependent on, that you can be relied on or called upon to provide a certain level of safety for them through you being consistent in your actions. So that's so important. Again, that you open yourself up and be available. Number 3, try your best to slow down. There are times where we get into these heat of the moment conversations, and our encounters that we have sexually all by themselves can cause avoidant behaviors. So let's just say, you're having sex with your partner or your spouse, and then immediately after they orgasm, they jump up out of the bed and go, I don't know, anywhere, leave the room. Maybe they go take a shower, maybe they go watch TV, maybe they go grab something to eat or whatever, but they're gone. And so the person who's left in the bed literally may be sitting there thinking like, well, what just happened? What in the world is going on? And so they might not be able to control their first reaction or the first thought that occurs in response to a trigger of their partner getting up and leaving right after orgasm. So when something like that happens, literally just take a moment. Just take a moment, ask your partner, hey, can we slow this down a little bit? I just need us to slow down just a little bit, and let's just talk about what just happened, because I don't want to assume that it's this or that, but can we just slow this down and talk about, like, what do you think just happened, right? Instead of jumping to a conclusion based on your partner's avoidant behavior. Okay. All right. Next, number 4, stay focused on how you could grow versus what's missing. We have a tendency to focus on what we don't have versus what we do have. And, instead of just thinking about what's not there and what's missing and what we don't have yet, we can focus on how we can get to where we want to be, how we can have what it is that we desire to have. And so, one of the most common pitfalls that we make when we're trying to navigate a tricky conversation is to make accusations about another person, to assume certain things about another person. And then what does that do? That causes that person to be defensive. So instead of, saying, you always seem disinterested when I'm talking to you. Instead of doing that, you can say, I feel sometimes during our discussions, I feel unheard sometimes during our discussions. Can you just repeat back what I said so I'm clear and I'm certain that you heard me and that you understood me and that, you were paying attention. So use I statements instead of you always, and never use always. Never say never and never say always. You know what I'm saying. Do your best to avoid saying never and always, because what that does is make your partner feel as if all of the times that they did show up right and they all, and they did do the right thing, that's irrelevant and it doesn't matter to you. And you're not giving them kudos, and you're not giving them the appreciation for when they do say the right thing and do the right thing and show up the right way. So we want to try to avoid using those words, never and always. Also, when you stay focused on how you can grow instead of, what you don't have and what's missing, it helps you actually hone in on what it is that you're feeling and gives you the opportunity to communicate those feelings more effectively. And then that can also encourage your partner to do the same thing. And then it steers the conversation toward a goal instead of just feelings. Okay. And if you're already dealing with someone who has that avoidant attachment style or has this disorganized attachment style, they already don't want to talk about feelings. And so you want to make sure that if we are going to have a conversation, that we're moving toward a goal and not just dumping our feelings. And the last thing is you want to frame the conversation around pleasure and play. That's motivational. That's exciting for people to talk about these uncomfortable conversations. So it is not uncommon for sexual conversations to arise out of frustration or disappointment. But as much as you can, keep the sex in the sex talk and avoid trying to talk about all of those things, creating this laundry list of everything that's been going wrong, right? So you instead of focusing on what you're hoping for or what you're wishing for, just focus on how the two of you can experience more pleasure when you're together, because ultimately that's what it's about, right? You want to be able to enjoy what's happening, right? And both of you want to be able to enjoy what's happening. So I don't know. I just think that, it's so important always with couples, whether it's sex or, it's intimacy or it's children or our future plans and goals and dreams and aspirations, we must continue to communicate. When we stop communicating, that's when we open the door for further disconnect. And we open the door for problems, for issues when we stop communicating. So we have to make sure that we're doing that. Um, all right, so let me check and see. Okay. Dark Knight says, as for your show here, I'm not married anymore. Right now, I'm not in a relationship. And though I'm not having sex at this moment, your program helps me a lot if I ever get married again. Oh, I appreciate that, Dark Knight case. Seriously. I mean, there's always something that we can learn. And that's one of the reasons why we encourage you guys to watch Before I Do. That comes on tomorrow night at 9:30, Wednesdays at 9:30, because married or not, there's always something we can learn. And Before I Do is really about people who, well, initially, the target audience are those people who are single or are newly married or maybe engaged, but it's for married people too, because a lot of what's being discussed are things that we never discussed prior to getting married anyway. So it's never too late to go back and have those courageous conversations, those critical and crucial conversations. And so I encourage you, Dark Knight Kate, to be watching Before I Do, especially since you're not married now. And I do believe you have a desire to be again at some point. And so I think that's also a really good show for you to watch. So definitely appreciate you being here. Definitely appreciate your support. And yes, it can help you in the future. Absolutely. Learning more about yourself. And these attachment styles, I mean, you have this whether you're in a relationship or not, right? If this is your attachment style, it's your attachment style. And so if it is, then understanding that, learning that, acknowledging that is the thing that you need to do in order to heal it, in order to change it. So if any of this resonates with you, with the avoidant attachment or the disorganized attachment, I would say definitely, work toward taking the steps that you need to take so that you can develop secure attachments, because ultimately that's what we need. And that's how we have healthy relationships, by ensuring that we have secure attachments. Sometimes we connect with the wrong people. Sometimes we connect with the right people at the wrong time. Sometimes we connect with too many people. And sometimes we're not connecting with the most important person, which is ourselves. The more you get to know yourself, the more beneficial you will be and more of an asset you will be to the relationship when you fully, truly understand yourself, who you are, how you show up, accepting yourself, flaws and all, right? Being open and honest, fully transparent with whomever it is that you are in relationship with. Number one, yourself. And then number two, any other person that you might be dating, and even your platonic friends, like being able to show up as your real, genuine, authentic self, acknowledging the fact that, I'm not perfect. And yes, I do have this disorganized attachment, or I do have this avoidant attachment, and not judging it, you know, acknowledging it, recognizing it, so then you can get the help and the support that you need. But that starts with number one 12-step 12-step program is, you know, acknowledging the fact that there's a problem, identifying the fact that there's a problem, right? And so if you're identifying that there's an issue and there's a problem, then let's see what we need to do to try to resolve it. All right. So next week, you guys, we are talking about the anxiety attachment. I touched on it a little bit tonight, but I'm going to go deeper next week. And then after that, it'll be secure attachment. And so we're working our way through these attachments and just showing how it affects you in the bedroom, how it affects your intimacy and your connection with your partner. So I hope that you guys got something out of this. Oh man, this comment just came in. Rick says, so many get married without knowing this. I wish I had known my attachment style before I got married. Facts, Rick. Me too. Me too. So again, but like I said, it's not too late, you guys. Learn your attachment style. And if it is one of the non-productive styles, then let's acknowledge that and let's get the help and the support that we need so we can have healthy and whole relationships. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. My name is LaKeesha Hines. Again, you were watching SOS. I want to see you here. I want to see your name in the place because I can't see your face. Some of you don't have pictures, but I want to see you in the place next week, 9 p.m. to continue this conversation about attachments. All right. You guys be blessed. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye-bye.